Darkness. One spell. And suddenly even the strongest enemy in Baldur's Gate 3 start fighting on your terms. From the Apostle of Miracle, an entire group of enemies, or the Hag in Act 3, Darkness can contain them, break their attacks, and turn impossible fight into victories. And the best part? You don't need some ultra complicated build to make it work. In this video I will show you a few simple techniques that can completely change how you approach combat in Baldur's Gate 3. So buckle up and let's the show begin. Unless a creator is immune to blindness, and I'll talk about that later, there is no saving throw against darkness. It automatically applies the blindness condition regardless of the creature's level or power. The Apostle of Miracle is a good example. It becomes automatically blinded as long as it remains in the darkness cloud. And since the Apostle is a stationary foe, it will never leave the darkness, cancelling its opportunity attacks, allowing you to safely exit the bone shield area of effect. Equally important is the fact that while standing in the darkness, and therefore blinded, a foe makes attack rolls with disadvantage, meaning it rolls 2 dice and uses the lowest result, drastically increasing the odds of missing entirely. Also, unless you are caught in an area of effect from a spell, grenade or a splash attack placed directly at the edge of the darkness cloud, creatures standing inside darkness cannot be targeted by ranged attacks and most spells. Only close range melee combat remains reliable, which makes darkness one of the strongest defense tactics in Baldur's Gate 3. In other words, while standing inside darkness, you become virtually untouchable to most range attacks and spells. Finally, in addition to that, most foes won't enter darkness. Instead, they stand right outside the cloud, wasting action repositioning, dashing or sampling, doing nothing. All the effects caused by darkness apply not only to your foes, but also to you and your companions. In order to turn darkness to your advantage, you must become immune to blindness, and there are a few ways to achieve that. The first come early in the game if you play Warlock with Devil Sight unlocked. The second option is Sharp Spears of Evening, but opting in it requires embracing the dark path and in the process sacrificing several potential allies in future fight. If you do not want to turn to the dark side, you can instead obtain immunity to blindness by looting the Everside Ring, located inside a chest in the Morgue Laboratory beneath the House of Healing in Act 2. Later in the game, once you reach Baldur's Gate, you can obtain the Helldusk Helmet located in Raphael's vault in the House of Hope, or the Steel Watcher Helmet located on a table in the northeast corner of the Steel Watch Foundry ground floor. Regardless of your final choice, I strongly advise having at least one way to become immune to blindness. It can drastically improve your chances of victory. Now that you have a way to become immune to blindness, let's talk about combat. First and foremost, always try to end your turn under the protection of darkness. Second, for characters who are not immune to blindness, step outside the darkness to deliver your attacks, then return to your original position in the cloud. Finally, use the characters who are immune to blindness to attack any foe who dare enter the darkness. You will gain advantage on your attack rolls, whilst your enemy will suffer disadvantage against you. And keep in mind that anyone who is blinded, foes and companions alike, loses the ability to make opportunity attacks. We have seen that darkness is a powerful spell available early in the game, capable of inflicting the blinded condition even on extremely powerful enemies. However, it does have limitations. First, as a spell, darkness can be countered with counterspell if the opposite side has a spellcaster in its ranks. Because of this, I strongly recommend giving your companions Scroll of Darkness and keeping Arrows of Darkness in your inventory as backup options. Second, always inspect your enemies by right-clicking them to check for abilities such as Blind Sight, Born into Darkness, Sharp Sight or Devil Sight, as these abilities can negate the effect of darkness. Finally, keep in mind that you can sometimes turn these limitations to your own advantage by using summons such as Spiritual Weapon, and guardian of faith, which aren't affected by darkness. And that's a wrap on Darkness. Thank you for watching until the end, and I hope this video helps elevate your gameplay. Feel free to leave a comment or ask questions in the section below. And as usual, happy gaming and happy looting.
Shit.